Hello everyone, in this video we are going to show you how we sublimate the Walmart glass bottles. We're going to show you how to sublimate them in a tumbler press and a convection oven. So let's get started. So the first thing obviously we're going to need is our design. This is the design that I am going to use. I use Affinity Designer to design and print my designs. Now when you print your design, you need it to be 9.4 by 7. And what I do is I put a little black line around my border so I know where to trim this on my trimmer. So I'm going to go ahead and print these out, and we'll take it from there. Okay, so we have our two designs that I printed on my Epson F170 printer with the Epson Sublimation Ink. Now we're going to trim these designs using my Rotary trimmer. And you'll just cut right inside of those black lines. You do not want those black lines showing on your design. So make sure that you cut right inside of them. At the top and the bottom you can cut a little bit more off than you need to, as long as you don't cut into your design. Just like that. Okay, then you take your Walmart glass bottle, if you can find them, and place your design on here. That's a little tricky because you have to get it on here right. You don't want to be on the curve where it curves around, and you don't want it to be like right up against the bottom because the bottom also curves around. So you need to find the right spot on here, and then kind of make sure that your top and the bottom of your design lines up. It takes a few tries. I think we're pretty close. Just like that. Where the curve is right up here, then there's another curve right down there. So right in between the two curves. And then we just put some tape on here. Like this. I like to tape up and down just so that it goes along the seam line. And since this is a design like this, you don't really have to worry about a seam line because it's an open kind of a design. Now if it was a solid like wrap design, then you would have to be more concerned about running your thumb down the edges of your seam line and all that stuff, but for these you don't have to. Then once you get that on here, I just like to put a piece of tape around the bottom. This is the one that we're going to put in the tumbler press. Just pull it nice and tight, run it around the bottom like that. Squeeze it out, make sure there's no wrinkles. Just like that. And then do the same for the top. Kind of half and half, just like that. Pull it around. Now on the top, if it starts wrinkling up a little bit, like this one is, I like to put another piece over the top of this one. It helps get the wrinkles out. So we're going to put another piece over that. If I can find the edge of the tape. Alright, there it is. This time you kind of line up right with the edge and don't go half and half. And then just kind of go around the edge like this. Smooth it out. Now it's easier to get those wrinkles out of there with another piece on there. Just like that. You can even use your table or whatever your desk or whatever you're taping on. So this one here is the one we're going to put in the tumbler press, so I'm not going to worry too much about it. And I'll take a piece of butcher paper and just cover it up just like this. Okay, so that one's ready for the tumbler press. Now we're going to wrap the one for the oven. Okay, so pretty much going to do the same thing. Just cut inside your lines. Nice and straight. Just love this Rotary trimmer. I think I've changed the blade in it once since I've had it in for like a year now. So now we can take this design, put it on here just like the last one, line it up. You don't want too much curve at the top. So if it's got a lot of curve, just slide it down a little bit. Kind of line your paper top and bottom up. It's just a little off. Now it's a lot off. This is the worst part of this. There we go. No, it's off. I'm pretty picky. I like it to be perfect. Well, that's even worse. Oh, come on. Close enough. Okay, so once you've got that, we're going to tape this one too. Same way. I like to start in the middle. Should have just a little slight overlap here. Now this one here is the one we're going to put in the convection oven. So when I do a convection oven, like I said, I'm not going to worry too much about this seam because it's not going to show with this image. But I like to run that piece down the center, just like this. Okay. Then we'll get the bottom. The bottom's pretty straight, so one piece of tape is going to hold it. Nice and smooth at the bottom, no wrinkles. So I'm good with one piece of tape down there. In the top, you can tell it's still, you can make your design smaller if you want to stay away from that, but I'm trying to use as much of the bottle as I can. It's not too bad of a wrinkle, I don't think. So we're going to put a piece around there, splitting it like that. You can see there's some wrinkles. Let's go ahead and work them out. Like I said, if you bring your design down some, it'll stay away from that curve. So that's up to you if that's what you want to do. I find this works pretty good. So we're going to put one more piece of tape, kind of help keep those wrinkles out of there. Pull it nice and tight as you go around. Good. Smooth it out. Those wrinkles will work out if they're not really big. If you didn't go up too high, they won't be very bad at all. Okay, so now since we're going to put this in the oven, we're going to shrink wrap this. And you can use the same shrink wrap that you use on a 20-ounce tumbler. So that's what we're going to be using. put my hand in here like this. That way I can just slide it right over. Kind of center it in there. Get your heat gun. Start on one side, kind of work your way around. Yeah. Try and get all the wrinkles out if you can. Don't get too close to it or you'll melt it and it'll get too hot. Try to stay away about 6 inches. Do the top. Try and get around that tape around the top there. You don't have to get all the wrinkles out, just try and get as much out as you can. That should be pretty good. Now that's ready for the oven. Okay, so we're going to do the one in the heat press first, or the tumbler press, not a heat press, tumbler press. And I'm going to set this for 380 for 70 seconds. And when that gets up to temperature, we're going to put the tumbler in there and continue from there. So we're getting pretty close to temperature. Like I said, I have this set at 380 for 70 seconds, and when the first 70 seconds is up, we're going to rotate it 180 degrees and then do it for a second 70 seconds. Now everybody's tumbler press may be different. This one here, when you put the tumbler in here, you want very light pressure, and this press, actually when you put your tumbler in, the glass bottle is going to absorb all the heat. So with this press, my time does not start until it gets back up to my set point. So if you have a press that does not do that, you may want to wait until your temperature comes back up to close to your 380, and then start your 70-second timer. Like I said, not all presses do that. When this comes up to 380, my 70-second timer will start counting down. So once that gets done, we'll continue from there. Okay, so my temperature is finally starting to come back up. My bottle is getting, glass bottle is getting nice and hot. So once I hit my 380, my timer will start timing. Now if you don't have that feature, hopefully you didn't start your timer yet. Don't start your timer until you get back up to the set point that you've set it at, because it takes a few minutes after the temperature drops for the bottle to warm back up again. As you can see, I'm hitting, now my timer just started. So when that gets count down, we'll rotate it 180 degrees. Okay, we're getting close to our first 70-second countdown. And when that reaches 0, I am going to rotate the tumbler 180 degrees. Okay, just turn it 180 degrees. Very light pressure. And then this time the timer should start very quick because you're already at temperature. Mine has not started yet, but it will once it gets to 380. So you want to wait till you're at temperature, then start your timer. There it goes. The glass bottle actually absorbs a lot of heat. So you want to make sure that you're at your temperature before your timer starts. Okay, here we go. We're getting down to our second 70 seconds for a total of 140 seconds. shut it off. Take out our tumbler. Make sure you got gloves on. Obviously you know that, but just take that off. And then, if you want to wait for it to cool down, you can. Or you can do it, or you can peel it off now. Just try not to burn yourself. Yes. Yeah. Very hot. Okay. Just like that. Now you may have some paper that sticks to the tumbler, that's fine. I've had several that look like crap when I peel the paper off, but once I wipe all the paper off, they look really good. You'll have like a seam line that's showing, that's just paper. So we'll let this cool down a little bit. You can see there's some paper right here, but I've had it where there's paper like all over right here. So don't worry about if you've got marks and that. There's paper all the way around the bottom here. That'll all wipe off, and we'll show you that as soon as. You don't want to wipe it off while it's really hot. Once it gets warm, we'll go ahead and wipe that off. So while that's cooling down, we're going to go ahead and put this one. Alright, so we're at temperature. Go ahead and place our glass bottle in there. And we'll leave it in there for the 8 minutes. We're not going to rotate it. We're not going to turn it. While that's cooking, let's go back over here to our glass bottle that we just took out of the tumbler press. And we're going to go ahead. It's still a little warm, but not too bad. We're going to go ahead and get this paper off of it. I got a damp rag, and I'm just wiping it off. And if you can see, I'm scrubbing really hard. The design is not coming off. If you're reading on Facebook, all these people saying, does it wipe? I've heard that it wipes off. Well, here's proof that it doesn't wipe off. And I'm scrubbing really hard with a terry cloth rag. So I'm getting all this paper off around the bottom, around the top. And that's what we have. Looks very nice. Colors are good. Okay. And I want to show again.
Is there paper on the straw?
No, that's just the design.
Oh, okay.
I just want to show again that I am scrubbing and scrubbing and scrubbing, and that is not coming off. So don't worry about the design coming off. Okay, we're going to put on our lid. And we've been putting rubber bottoms on them, so when you set them down, they don't make a clanking noise. Grab one real quick. I have a rubber bottom. Just going to put it on here. Just like that. Now when you set it down, much better. Okay, so when the 8 minutes is up on the microwave, we'll continue from there. Okay, we're getting close to our time. Like I said, this is 380 for 8 minutes. And we shrink wrap this one. Okay. Take our tumbler and let it cool down. Now you cannot submerge this in cold water or room temperature water or any water. Just let it cool down. You can see the design came through. We'll let this cool down, and then we'll pull the shrink wrap and the the paper off, and we'll see what it looks like. Okay, so it's cooled down enough to where we can peel the shrink wrap off, or attempt to peel the shrink wrap off. Start down here at the bottom. I'll find this seam it might peel. There we go. Look at that. First time for everything. It did melt a little bit, but that's not a big deal. Take that off. Yeah, it's more fun getting off of the bottles than it is the tumblers. Well, it really stuck good up here on the lip. Well, here's a lesson. Maybe you don't want to go all the way up to the lip. I'll be getting that off with a knife probably later. I just want to continue the video right now. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and peel this off. Okay. It seems like when you use the oven that the paper doesn't stick like when you use a tumbler press. But I still like to wipe it down with a damp rag just to get anything off of there if the paper did stick. And I am wiping this very hard and it is not coming off, so don't worry about it wiping off. And looking at this, I suggest that you don't shrink wrap all the way up around the bottle top. Just come like shrink wrap to about right there. I'll have to scrape this off with a knife. I don't want to do that while you're... And we'll go ahead and put our rubber bottom on here. And we can compare these two. Here's the one that was in the oven. It's not burnt. Nice colors. No fading. And here's the one we did in the tumbler press. Like I said, we just had to wipe off some paper off of this one. And side-by-side comparison. Pretty much the same. So hopefully this video helps you sublimate your Walmart glass bottles if you have an oven or if you have a tumbler press. Please subscribe, like, and share. And thanks for watching.